Thank you, sir. Very good afternoon. Very good afternoon to everyone. Yes, Nandagopal.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I have a doubt in charge of GST. Can I ask, sir?
Charge of GST. Okay.
Sir, in the composition levy, if we're going for registration,
Okay.
the registered person can start that he can use the composition levy from the beginning of the year.
Before registration.
Sir?
Before registration, he cannot levy, no?
Yes, sir.
Only after registration, he can levy under composition if he is applied for composition scheme. Before registration, he cannot levy.
Okay, sir. Sir, if the person is unregistered, he is going to register for the composition levy means during the financial year he is registering means from the effective date he can use the composition levy, yes, sir.
No, I didn't understand. Repeat your question.
Sir, if the person going to register for the composition levy, he registered there during the financial year. In the module, it was says that the date from which registration is effective.
Correct.
In the middle of the year, the composition levy can be.
Yeah. So if you have started only your business in between the year.
Okay, sir.
And when you have started your business, you're getting registration as a composition taxpayer.
Okay, sir.
So it can be in middle of the year. So what can be from beginning of the year is if you are getting converted from your normal scheme to composition scheme.
Okay, sir.
That cannot happen in middle of the year. That has to happen from beginning of the year.
Okay, sir. Understood, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. $12.9 and $12.10. What is the difference? Okay, we'll discuss the difference between $12.9 and $12.10 when we go to that. Some other questions are there with respect to place of supply. So, Hardik, are you saying that in case of an unregistered person who purchases the goods over the counter and therefore transports the goods to another state, in automobile sector, like your example, where the supply of goods is made to a person other than a registered person, the place of supply shall be the location as per the address of the person. Okay, so this was the thing what we were discussing last class also, that what happens in such case. Okay, the answer says that where the supply of goods is made to a person other than a registered person, the place of supply shall be the location as per the address of the said person recorded in the invoice issued in respect of the said supply, and location of the supplier where the address of the said person is not recorded in the invoice. Okay. So this is a significant shift from what we have been studying. So Hardik, tell me whether there is any kind of reference to this. Is there any reference they have made or just given this answer? Have they referred to any provision, any section of the act?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, they have not referred to any of the sections, but they have just written it in the MTP's answer like this only.
Right.
Sir, that's why I was asking that. Sir, but one reference I have received, but it is, I don't know whether it is correct or not. I am sending you the picture.
Okay.
Sir, one picture I have sent you on the chat.
Just one moment. Let me see this.
Sir, it is an online source, so I don't know whether it is correct or not.
Okay. I haven't received that.
Sir, I think so. They have blocked it. Sir, we cannot send. Sir, I can read it for you.
Sure.
Sir, that picture is a differentiating for registered person and for unregistered person. And sir, yeah, sir, in that where the supply invoices movement of goods, whether by the supplier or by the recipient or by any other person. Place of supply is equal to location of the supply where the goods terminated, which we have read, sir. Same. Where the supply does not involve a movement of goods, whether by the supplier or recipient, place of supply is equal to location of the goods at the time of the delivery of the recipient. This is also, sir, same. Now, sir, supply is made to a person other. It is a supply made to a person other than registered person. In this case, sir, where the address of the recipient is recorded in the invoice issued in the respect of supply, place of supply is equal to location as per such address recorded in the invoice.
Got it. Okay.
And so second option is where the address is not recorded,
location of the supplier.
Yes.
Okay. Now I got this. Let me share the relevant things so that I think we can understand. Okay. So this is basically been a amendment. Okay. That's what is the highlight of this. So if you see the amendments for January 2025, there itself they've included. So of course, this will have an impact for May 2025 exams also, wherein they are saying that what happens in case of place of supply of goods purchased over the counter in one state and transported to another state. So section 10 may there is an amendment wherein there could be cases where an unregistered person purchases goods over the counter in one state and then he transports the goods to another state. Okay, generally the state where he resides. For instance, migrant workers, tourists, etc., who have come to a state for work and things, and when they purchase and go back to their state. Similarly, in automobile sector also, it generally happens that you buy a car in another state where the rates of duty is less, and then you transport it back to your state to take advantage of lower registration charges and road tax, which may vary from state to state, therefore taking the vehicle to their state. For bringing in clarity in respect of determination of place of supply with effect from 1st October 2023, IGST Amendment Act 2023 has amended Section 10 and inserted 10CA. Okay, so there is one new section called 10CA, which states as follows, and this is with effect from 1st October 2023, where the goods, supply of goods is made to a person other than a registered person, the place of supply shall, notwithstanding anything contained in ARC, like generally in A, we see there the goods are terminated. So it says notwithstanding. So you have to ignore that when in this particular case, where the supply of goods is made to a person other than a registered person. So whatever we have read in 10A, that will apply to a registered person. Now, when you're supplying it to a person other than a registered person, that is basically a unregistered person, the place of supply shall be the location as per the address of the said person recorded in the invoice, which is issued in respect of the said supply, and the location of the supplier where the address of the said person is not recorded. So here they are clarifying that whatever we have read, that rule cannot be applied in case of a unregistered person. So wherever there is an unregistered person, his address is mentioned, then that will become the place of supply. If address is not mentioned, then the supplier's place itself will become the place of supply. For the purpose of this class, recording the name of the state of the said person in the invoice shall be deemed to be recording of the address. Just if you mention the state, that itself is sufficient, because that we need to determine whether that person is coming from another state. So if you just mention the state, that is also sufficient. Now, this is being clarified. So what Hardik was reading was this: place of supply in case of a over-the-counter sales to unregistered person is as follows, where the address of the unregistered person is recorded in the invoice, then the place of supply is the location as per the address of the unregistered person. And where the address of the unregistered person is not recorded, then the place of supply is the location of the supplier itself. Okay. So this is how we were getting confused. Now this 10CA brings this clarity. And 10CA, thanks Hardik for bringing this up, that what happens in case of a unregistered person. So specifically this 10CA is for an unregistered person. When that person comes and goes to another state and he's recorded the address, then that state will become the place of supply. If address is not recorded, then the supplier state itself will become the place of supply.
Sir, is this rule only overriding section A and section C?
Correct.
बाकी तो सर सेम,
बाकी सब सेम है, because where जहाँ पे installation वगैरह होगा, there it will be the same.
Okay sir, thank you sir.
You. Somebody else was asking a question with respect to, can you explain fixed establishment? Okay, fixed establishment, Mahi will go through here. We'll bring the definition of fixed establishment so that it is clear. What is the definition of a fixed establishment? It is defined here under the important definitions. What is a fixed establishment? Fixed establishment means a place other than the place of business. Okay, because if it is place of business, then you have to register this. Now, apart from your place of business, if you have any other establishment, that we will term as fixed establishment. Fixed establishment means a place other than the place of business, which is characterized by a sufficient degree of permanence and suitable structure in terms of human and technical resources to supply services or to receive service and use services for its own needs. So what's a fixed establishment? It means a place other than the place of business which is characterized by sufficient degree of permanence. ऐसा नहीं है कि temporary tent डाल दिया है for a project and you're there only for 10 days. That becomes a permanent नहीं. That becomes a temporary place. So you should have some proper structure. कि आपने अगर कुछ temporary sheets भी डाल दिया है, which will run for, which means it will be there for long term, but you are at least staying there for a couple of months, which will establish that there is sufficient degree of permanence and suitable structure is there in terms of human and technical resources. That ऐसा नहीं हो कि you have kept a shed, and you call it as a fixed establishment. It should have all the requirements. It should have 4 walls. It should have sufficient resources for people to eat, things like that, right? That is called as a place where there is suitable structure in terms of human and technical resources to supply service. कि वहां से कुछ service provide कर सकते हैं, or you can receive services. That is a fixed establishment. Okay. सेक्शन पेज नंबर 4.41. ओके, 4.41 में चले जाएंगे. एक नोट है, उसमें लिखा है कि इन दैट दे मेंशन ऑन 4.41 दैट POS विल बी डिटरमाइंड एज पर द अबव प्रोविजन ओनली. ओके, गो टू 4.41. No. 4.41 is in relation to supply of services. So are you talking about supply of service? Can you please raise your hand, Mai, so that I can unmute you and you can ask a question in a more proper manner? Praveen's question is, we are going to appear for May 2025. What are the statutory updates to be followed? Like from which month or year, which is after May 24 updates or earlier, can you explain? So all updates after May 24 will come. So you will get a statutory update, like how I had showed you statutory update for January. Similarly, you will get an update. So those updates will be relevant for you. Branch can be considered as a fixed establishment. Yes, it can be considered as a fixed establishment. Meaning of okay, too many questions today. Looks like it's a question and answer session today. Branch can be considered as fixed establishment. Yes. Meaning of vessel. Vessel का मतलब ship होता है. Whatever is a kind of a vessel. Vessel is defined, but general understanding of vessel is it's a ship or a cruise. That is a vessel. Charge of GST.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Sir, my this side. Sir, place of supply में page number 4.41.
Yes, 4.41. Service supplied on board a conveyance, no?
No, sir. The एक second, sir.
In composite supply, place of supply, see, you let it be composite supply or regular supply, Shruti. In both the cases, the place of supplies will apply. So whatever is the place of supply for a regular supply, the similar thing will apply for a composite supply also. There will not be any differentiation. But in case of a composite supply, what is the place of supply for the principal supply? That will apply even for the ancillary supplies also. Okay. For the ancillary supplies, the place of supply of the main supply will be considered. So ship is a movable, sir. Why it has been given as immovable? They have not given it as immovable. They have classified along with immovable. So when you see the bundling of the services, they have taught that immovable property and vessels and ships and any kind of a boat, the place of supply of this will be together. They have not given it as immovable. That's why there is a separation over there and inclusion in that place of supply relevant section. Mahi, are you there? Okay. (12) subsection 8. Okay. (12) subsection 8 is transportation of goods including mail or courier. So what is your question in this respect? Okay, Shahid, what is your question?
गुड आफ्टरनून सर.
Yes, good afternoon.
सर मेरा भी डाउट इसी सेक्शन में ही है सर, सेक्शन 12 सबसेक्शन 8 में. मुझे इसका रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन का प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई समझ में आया सर, बट अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन का प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन हो रहा है सर.
ठीक है,
आप बता देंगे एक बार.
ओके. सो द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई जैसे लिखा है वो देते हैं, फिर आई गो टू माय शीट. द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विसेज बाय वे ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ गुड्स इंक्लूडिंग बाय मेल, कोरियर एक्सेट्रा provided to a registered person is the location of such person. तो registered person अगर है तो फिर place of supply क्या होगा? Place of supply will be where that registered person is located. So we are clear with the registered part. Now, however, we are confused with the unregistered part. So उसके लिए बोला गया है, however, where such services are provided to a unregistered person, the place of supply is the location at which such goods are handed over for their transportation. तो अगर unregistered person होगा तो फिर उसका डिटेल्स क्या रेलेवेंट है? किसी को रेलेवेंट नहीं है. डिटेल्स कब रेलेवेंट होता है? जब किसी को जीएसटी हम चार्ज करते हैं और उसको क्रेडिट मिलता है. तो अगर अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन को क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा बिकॉज वो रजिस्टर्ड ही नहीं है, तो व्हाट विल हैपन इज ही विल come and give the goods to a courier company and just go off. Now, the place of supply will be the place where the goods are handed over for their transportation. If an unregistered person comes to me, I'm a transporter of goods, I'm a lorry recipient, I'm a GTA, I have to transport the goods from Bangalore to Tamil Nadu. So, the place of supply for when an unregistered person comes will be the place where he's handed over the goods to me. He's handed over to me at Bangalore. So the place of supply will be Karnataka. That is the case of a transportation of goods in case of mail or courier. Now, another aspect which has to be kept in mind very importantly is in both the cases, if the goods are being transported outside India, then the destination of such goods is the place of supply, which means if it is outside India, then it will be a export service because the place of supply will be the destination. So generally it is source when an unregistered person comes, but when it's an destination is outside India, then the place of supply is the destination of such goods. सर इसी में हो नोट था आउटसाइड इंडिया लिखा हुआ है डिटरमाइंड एज पर अबव प्रोविजन ओनली, बट अबव प्रोविजन नो इट डजंट से अबव प्रोविजन ना, इट सेज if the goods are transported, the destination of goods is the place of supply, not the above provision. Might be you're having a old version, just check the latest version. Very nice. In this chapter, registered person is supplier or recipient. recipient itself. No, because the supplier we know is the person who is transporting the goods. And when it is provided to a registered person, means the services are provided to a registered person. So it is from a recipient who is a registered person or no has to be decided. Explain 12.9 second point. 12.9 is simply saying that passenger transport services. This we had discussed. When you give a fixed tickets or you give seasonal tickets, saying that okay, 10 tickets you purchase for a fixed price. Now you do not know the place of supply, because where the passenger embarks on the conveyance, that will become the place of supply. For a supply to an unregistered person, for a registered person, that problem is not there. It will always be the location of the recipient, wherever he boards the train and wherever he gets down. But when it comes to unregistered person, the place of supply said that in first part, that where the location of the passenger embarks on the conveyance, that will become the place of supply. Now, when you're giving a right to passage, when you're giving a voucher, when you're giving a fixed ticket, the place of supply is not known. But then, if the address of the unregistered person is available, then the location of such person. In all other cases, location of supplier of services. This becomes the place of supply. Transportation company delivers to an unregistered person, and place of supply is place where transportation company delivered those goods. No. In case of a transportation company who delivers to an unregistered person, the question of delivery doesn't apply. Who is coming to the transportation agency for the services? That person is important. Now, if that person is unregistered, then the place of supply in that case has to be determined. When you're giving it, that will become the place of supply, where you are handing over the goods. It's not where it is getting delivered. Okay. So if the goods are sent through courier and destination is Tamil Nadu, but due to change of plan, the person collect the goods in Karnataka. Okay. Will the place of supply be Karnataka? No. In both the cases, Preeti, it is decided on whether you're registered or unregistered. Now, if you are registered person, you're given the goods to the courier company. You have told him destination should be Tamil Nadu, but later on changed to Karnataka. Still, the place of supply will be where the recipient, not the receiver. Okay, the recipient of service, that is who is paying this amount for the courier company. That the person who pays, the payer's place will be considered as the place of supply in case of a registered person. In case of unregistered person, you know that where the goods are handed over. Yes, for an unregistered person in courier case will be CGST and SGST generally. Correct, you're right. So let's get into our presentation now, because we have already spent, okay, last question, quiz number 4. Preeti, what example do you need for? You have already given your example, right? So consider that example. Quizzes 4. What page number? Quiz time number 4. Okay. Grand Wedding Planners Chennai is hired by Laddu Singh, who is unregistered, to plan and organize his wedding. Okay, let me share this. Grand Wedding Planners is hired by Laddu Singh, who is unregistered person based out in Hyderabad, and he planned to organize his wedding. The place of supply is dash if the wedding is held at New Delhi, or dash if the wedding is held at Seychelles. So you tell me what is the correct answer according to you.
Recording in progress.
So what is the answer according to you? Hardik, is your answer correct? We have to go to 12.7, where the slide I had shown you when it is registered person and when it is an unregistered person. In this case, it is supplied to an unregistered person. So where it is organized, 12.7 says when it is organized to a person who is unregistered, if the event is happening in India, then the location in such case will be the place where it is held. Okay. So in case of first dash, first fill in the blank, it will be New Delhi, because the event is being held to plan and organize his wedding, which is the New Delhi, if the wedding is held at New Delhi. And now second instance where the event is outside India, okay, then the location is location of the recipient. So wherever the recipient is there, that is becomes the place of supply. In second case, our dash if wedding is held in Seychelles. So if it is held outside India, then the place of supply will not go out. The place of supply will be the place where the recipient is located. Where is the recipient located? Hyderabad. So the answer in second dash is Hyderabad. Okay. If it is to a unregistered person within India, then the place where it is being held. And in case where it is outside India, then the place where the recipient is registered. Doesn't get Seychelles. Seychelles is outside India. Correct? For your information, Seychelles is a country which is not in India. So that will not become the place of supply. The place of supply will be where the recipient is located. Correct. Location of the recipient in case of place of supply is outside India. Very true. Okay. Now we had another question in respect of what is the difference between two sections. Which are those sections you were asking somebody? (12.8) and 12.9. (12.9) and 12.10. Okay. So what is 12.9 and what is 12.10? We'll see it in a minute. 12.9 is in case of a passenger transport service, and 12.10 is services provided on board a conveyance. Lot of difference. 12.9 Tambeshwari is a passenger transport service. Passenger transport means The ticket, what you buy, that is passenger transport service. But in case of 1210 is services which is provided on board a conveyance. So whatever service is provided in a transportation, that is 1210. But 12.9 is simply for the ticket, what will be the place of supply. Clear हुआ तंबेश्वरी? 12.9 and 12.10. 12.9 is connected to passenger transport service, and 12.10 is not in respect of goods. Again, 12.10 is in respect of services provided on a passenger transport service. Example of 12.9 is when you go in a flight, you pay the ticket charges. So that is covered in 12.9. Now, once you have gone into the flight, used some services of the flight for which they are charging something, then that becomes an example of 12.10. Okay, so 12.9 is the ticketing charges, and 12.10 is any additional services which you purchase while on the journey. That is under 12.10. Ten is use of service, correct. 10 is use of service on board a conveyance. Does it affect location wise? No, it doesn't affect, because in case of 12.9, the place of supply is the location of recipient. And if it is to an unregistered person, then where you board, embark on the conveyance, where you get into that flight, where you get into that bus, or if it's a train, where you get into that train, that is the place of supply. So it depends on where you are boarding the conveyance. Okay, so we had read 12.9, 12.10. 12.10 also we understood, because goods supplied on board a conveyance, the place of supply is the location where the goods are taken. But in 12.10, this is also with respect to journey, but the location of the first scheduled point of departure will become the place of supply in case of supply services supplied on board a conveyance. Yes,
Sir?
Shahid? Yes.
So in case I have traveled through train, then in
Travel?
the middle of journey, I travel through a train.
Okay.
I have in the middle of journey, I have upgraded to like sleeper to AC. Then it will be a case of section 12 subsection 10.
No. That will still be 12 subsection 9 itself, because the service is of transportation of passengers. So even if you have upgraded, the transportation service, passenger transport service will still be there. That will not get converted to 12.10.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we understood 12.9 and 12.10. Now coming to 12.11. 12.11 says that what is the place of supply in case of a fixed communication line, lease line, internet lease line, or a cable or a dish antenna. What will become the place of supply for these services? For these services, with the location will be where the communication line, lease circuit, or cable connection or dish antenna is installed for receipt of services. So we know that practically today getting cable connection is no more possible, because everybody is getting converted to getting internet or kind of getting DTH at home. correct? So you will have a DTH installed on your terrace. So for such services, the place of supply will be where the dish antenna is installed. Okay, where is that DTH getting installed? So that will become the place of supply. Similarly, in telecommunication lines also, you take telecommunication lines, telephone lines from BSNL or Airtel or anybody. The place of supply will be the line where it is getting installed. Okay, so your registered, unregistered will not matter, because ultimately where the telecommunication line is getting installed, that will be the place of supply. It can't be that I'm having telephone line here using the services and the place of supply is in some other state. Correct? So then that will not be correct. So this is like a consumption based tax, wherein in case of first services, fixed communication lines, lease circuits, internet lease line, or any kind of cable or dish antenna, the location will be the location where the telecommunication line is installed. It also includes, in case of a lease circuit or a cable connection, will still be the place of supply where the installation is happening. Now you have postpaid mobile connection and internet connection. Prepaid separate, postpaid separate. Why? Because in postpaid, the location of the billing address is there. Generally, when you are under postpaid, you used to get at least bills before COVID. You used to get physical bills. To get that physical bills, they have to mention the address. So in such case, where the location of the billing address of the recipient of service is recorded, then the location of the billing address. If the some services, they don't take the location, then the location of the supplier itself will become the place of supply. Okay. लीज सर्किट मतलब जो लीज लाइन आता है ना, उसे कहते हैं लीज सर्किट. देन फिक्स लाइन हो गया, पोस्टपेड हो गया, अब प्रीपेड में चलते हैं. In case of a prepaid mobile connection, internet service or DTH, anything where the service is provided. अब जब आप रिचार्ज करने जाते हो, प्रीपेड का हो गया, आपको रिचार्ज करना है. So where you will go to an agent. Now that agent could be a selling agent, reseller agent, or a distributor of subscriber identity module card or recharge voucher. So basically where you're going, you're recharging it. Wherever these services are available physically, then the address of the selling agent or reseller or distributor at the time of supply, because later on he can change, at the time of supply, what was his location, that will be critical to decide. Where is he located? That is the place of supply. So address of the selling agent, reseller or distribution at the time of supply is the place, it is called the place of supply. That is where that seller is located. Because आप जब recharge करने जाओगे, you can come from another state and get recharge done here. And at the time of recharge, you just have to pay money. You don't have to give your address or anything. That's why where this person who is providing the service of recharge, where is this reseller or where is this a seller located, that is the place of supply. Now, services provided by any person to final subscriber, location where the prepayment is received or such vouchers are sold. So it could be an agent, re-agent, or it could be sold by any person to final consumer. Then the location where such prepayment is received will be the place of supply. Then prepayment services, the payment of which is made through internet banking. Correct? Amazon Pay, GPay, Cred Pay, इन सब पे आप ऑनलाइन बैठ के कर सकते हो. तो उसका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई कहाँ पे रहेगा? द लोकेशन ऑफ द रिसिपिएंट ऑफ सर्विसेज इन द रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ द सप्लायर ऑफ सर्विस. क्योंकि सप्लायर को अगर रिचार्ज करना, आपको मोबाइल नंबर और एड्रेस सब देना पड़ेगा. सो देन दैट द location of the recipient of service in the records of the supplier will become the place of supply. Okay, and in all other cases, किसी other mode से आप करते हो, then the address of the recipient as per the records of the supplier of service, and if the location of supplier service, if the address is not available, then the location of the supplier itself. इतने clear ही है that in major of the cases it will be like this, where the address is available, then the location of the recipient. If not there, then the location of the supplier. $12.11 thoda lambda tha. Are you clear with it? Can anybody summarize 12.11? Yes, please do your hand raise and summarize so that it'll be easier. Yes, Supriya.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon. Yes, can you quickly summarize?
Yes, sir. In telecommunication service, in case if the service is provided by any person, okay, the final subscriber, then the location of prepayment. In case of prepayment, then that person's location. Sorry. In case of prepayment, the who is the seller, and their address, their location is considered as the seller's address considered as seller's location consider. We will consider seller's location. In case of okay, so sir, can you please go with the first slide?
Yeah, this is the first slide.
Prepayment. In case of prepayment, okay, then the address of selling agent. Okay, whatever the services we are getting in prepayment, like prepaid mobile recharge and the internet service. Okay, this kind of service. Then the address of selling agent we will consider for the telecommunication service. Is it okay?
Fine. And if it is not through a selling agent, somebody else?
Okay. The in case of any person is a finance. So give me a moment.
Sure. Good. Make attempt. No problem.
So please go with the Hardik.
Okay.
सर स्टार्टिंग से करना है.
Yes. Only on this 12.11.
ओके सर. सर 12.11 सर 3 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करते हैं. सर फर्स्ट है फिक्स कनेक्शंस, जो कि हम कभी भी मूव नहीं कर सकते. दोज कनेक्शंस, तो उसमें जहाँ पे भी उस कनेक्शन, जो लोकेशन है जहाँ पे वो कनेक्शन हुआ, तो वो हमारी प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. सेकंड है पोस्टपेड मोबाइल्स. पोस्टपेड मोबाइल्स में हमको 2 चीजें देखनी है. बिलिंग एड्रेस, अगर बिलिंग एड्रेस है तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल बिलिंग एड्रेस, अगर नहीं है तो लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लाई. थर्ड हमने प्रीपेड मोबाइल्स अगर हमने सेलिंग एजेंट या रीसेलर एजेंट या डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एजेंट से देखा है, तो जहां उसने ये सर्विस प्रोवाइड करी वो हमारी प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. नहीं तो जहाँ पे अगर वो क्योंकि मूव कर सकता है तो डिफिकल्ट होगा जीएसटी देना, तो इसलिए जहां उसने ये सर्विस हमको दी वो हमारी प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई है. देन सर्विसेज प्रोवाइडेड बाय द पर्सन टू अ फाइनल सब्सक्राइबर. देन लोकेशन एज पर द पेमेंट रिसीव्ड या वाउचर जहां उसने भी रिसीव करा वो उसकी प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई है. एंड प्रीपेड सर्विसेज पेड थ्रू अ बैंकर और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मोड. देन आईपी एड्रेस, क्योंकि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मोड्स में हमारा आईपी एड्रेस होता है तो उसमें ऑफ कोर्स हमारा बिलिंग एड्रेस होगा, तो वहां से वो हमको एड्रेस मिल जाएगा. एंड लास्ट एनी अदर केस है, तो अगर हमारे पास एड्रेस है रिसिपिएंट का तो रिसिपिएंट का एड्रेस, नहीं तो लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर है तो सप्लायर का एड्रेस.
ओके, वेरी नाइस, गुड समराइज. लेकिन आपने प्रीपेड में आईपी एड्रेस वगैरह बोला है. द लॉ डजंट से अबाउट आईपी एड्रेस, इट सेज द लोकेशन ऑफ द रिसिपिएंट ऑफ सर्विसेज इन द रिकॉर्ड. सो इवन इफ योर address say is in Delhi, okay, you have given the address as Delhi on the Amazon Pay, Okay, but you are doing the recharge through sitting in Tamil Nadu. Your place of supply will still be Delhi itself because that's the address what you have given. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you do it. IP address will not matter because locating IP address and things, finding place will become very complicated. So wherever you have given the address, that will become the place of supply. Riddhi, we have explained in English also. Which part? I think everything is covered in English. Is there anything which I missed out explaining in English? Postpaid. Okay. So in case of postpaid, what will become the place of supply? The place of supply in case of postpaid will be the location of the billing address. So when you get a postpaid, you would have given the address where the bill has to be delivered. Now, even if the bill is not delivered, still they ask for the address. Because in postpaid, what happens? You receive services and later on you make the payment. That's where they need your address. So where you have given the address, then that address will become the place of supply. If you have not given the address, then the location of the supplier itself will become the location for place of supply. Wherever the location of the supplier is there, that will become the place of supply. Location of prepayment means jahan pe you are making that prepayment. Wherever you are doing that prepayment, that is called a location of such prepayment. So if you are having a mobile phone, it's not necessary that you should do recharge here only. You could go to another state and recharge it over there, right? So in that state, when you go, where that location, where you are doing that prepayment, that is the place of supply. That is telecommunication services. Now, somebody was asking on internet banking. Can you please repeat your question? Prepaid and postpaid service. Prepaid matlab when you make the payment before and utilize it later on, like your mobile phones. So if you are buying a prepaid card, you are paying it in advance and using the service later on. That is called as prepaid service. And postpaid service means service you are using now, payment you are doing at the end of certain period. That is called as postpaid service. Now this can happen in mobile, it can happen in terms of internet connection or various other DTH services. Prepaid connection and prepaid services same? Yes, both are same because in prepaid services, you make the payment before. Even in prepaid connection, you pay it before. So it is the same.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Sir, in case I recharge the phone of my brother or anybody else, then the place of supply will be?
If you are recharging it through a selling agent, it will be the address of that selling agent itself. It will not depend on who is making the payment. Okay. In all the previous services, it was the payer if he is registered or unregistered. In this telecommunication services, recipient could be anywhere. The place of supply will be decided where this addition or recharge or top up is happening. That will become the place of supply. Bhavna's question is, in case of prepaid services where payment is made by electronic modes, the place of supply is where? in case if it is in electronic modes, through internet banking or electronic modes, then the location of recipient of service in the records of the supplier of service. It doesn't say that location of supplier. It is location of the recipient of service. So even if you do through your mobile, still it is a kind of payment which is made through internet banking or any other electronic modes. Even if you're recharging from your mobile, then you are doing through electronic modes. That become the place of supply will be the location of the recipient of services in the records of the supplier. Supplier's record will have your address, because without Aadhaar you cannot get your mobile phones, you cannot get your SIM activated. So you would have given your Aadhaar, okay, that they use it for verification as well as for recording your address. Post rate can be example Wi-Fi. Yes, it can be Wi-Fi. It can be landline connections also. That is all postpaid services. Clear, Bhavna? Who is the supplier in this case? So in case of electronically, if you are buying it, so generally in case of electronic recharges or mobile recharge, what happens? The supplier is the mobile company itself. The payment gateway is happening through either Paytm or Phone Pay or Google Pay. They are only facilitating the payment. Supplier will be the original company itself, because they are the one who are supplying it directly to you. Shruti Kumari, what is your question?
So, sir, in internet banking, even we are paying, like I'm paying my brother Wi-Fi bill. So I'm I'm paying, but I'm not a recipient here.
Correct.
Okay, so the person who is consuming is the recipient because iska location registered hai.
Correct. So wherever the recipient whose name is there, that only will be decided. Even if you pay on his behalf, you will not be considered as a recipient.
Okay, thank you, sir.
वाईफाई पोस्टपेड का सर्विसेज मानवी इज दो सर्विसेज जो आप अगर मोबाइल फोन खरीदने जाते हो, देन यू हैव टू ऑप्शंस कि आपको प्रीपेड चाहिए या पोस्टपेड चाहिए. पोस्टपेड मतलब आप फुल यूज कीजिए मंथ में, देन एंड ऑफ द मंथ दे विल गिव यू अ बिल, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज पोस्टपेड. ओके, नाउ दिस कुड बी पोस्टपेड और वाईफाई जो इंटरनेट यूज करते हैं हम लोग, दैट के लिए एक लाइन आता है एंड देयर इज अ मॉडेम, उससे आप कहीं से भी कनेक्ट कर सकते हो, दैट इज वाईफाई. ओके, normally we stay at Delhi, and when I recharge my SIM at Mumbai and after 2 days I back my home state, in such place of supply is where it will always be the address what you have given. Okay, it will not become that you are there where which is your permanent address you have given, that will become the place of supply. Nandagopal, prepaid and postpaid is different, sir. Prepaid, if you're doing it through a selling agent, then the selling agent's place. If you're doing it directly, then your place. So there is a difference, no, in prepaid. And in postpaid, wherever you have given the address, that's where there's a difference. तंबेश्वरी, आप अनम्यूट कर लेंगे so that आपका query clear हो जाएगा.
यस सर. मेरे को क्वेश्चन था कि वाईफाई कंज्यूमर के सर, मुझे वाईफाई वाला एग्जांपल समझ में नहीं है जो श्रुति दीदी ने पूछा था.
क्लियर है अभी?
नहीं सर, अभी भी नहीं है.
हाँ, क्या डाउट है वाईफाई समझ में? क्या क्वेश्चन है? Correct. Postpaid means outstanding and prepaid means advance. Correct. So in case of prepayment, place of supply will be the address of the selling agent if supply is through an agent. And in case prepayment by final subscriber POS will be the location where it is received. Correct. It means in both the cases, location of recipient is not course of supply. But in second case, it can be no, Pallavi. That in first case, of course, location of the selling agent. And in case through a final subscriber, that is, you are the subscriber. If you are paying it through your mobile phones, then whatever address you have given, that will become the place of supply.
Yes, sir. I asking you that Wi-Fi in this case, who is receiver, who is supplier, and who is a consumer?
Correct.
I'm audible. Audible, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. यही समझ में नहीं आया सर.
वाईफाई के केस में वाईफाई एक एयरटेल जैसे ले लीजिए, वो आपको वाईफाई का कनेक्शन देते हैं. मतलब उनका वायर खींच के आपको कनेक्शन देंगे आपके घर तक, और आप मोबाइल पे वाईफाई यूज क्लिक करोगे तो आप वाईफाई कनेक्टेड हो जाओगे. करेक्ट. ये वाईफाई है. तो अब इस वाईफाई में क्या क्वेश्चन है आपको?
यही सर कि जो श्रुति जी ने पूछा था कि जो कंज्यूमर है, जो कंज्यूम कर रहा है वो मैं हूँ, और मतलब पेमेंट कर रहा है वो कोई और है, ऐसा सर.
हाँ, तो वहां पे अगर किसी और ने भी पेमेंट कर दिया है तो फिर प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई जो पे कर रहा है उसके हिसाब से डिसाइड नहीं होगा. इट विल बी डिसाइडेड उसी समय के होगा जब किसी का एड्रेस दिया हुआ है. जैसे आपका मोबाइल है, आपका नंबर है, और आपके नंबर के ऊपर एड्रेस भी टैग होगा. आपके नंबर के साथ आपका नाम और एड्रेस भी होगा. इसलिए आप जब कभी कंज्यूमर केयर को फोन करते हो, कस्टमर केयर को, तो फिर वो आपका नाम पूछते हैं, क्रॉस वेरीफाई करते हैं. क्यों वेरीफाई करते हैं? क्योंकि आपके नंबर के साथ आपका नाम उनके रिकॉर्ड्स में दर्ज किया गया है. करेक्ट.
यस सर.
तो जैसे नंबर दर्ज किया गया है वैसे पैन भी उनके पास है, आधार भी उनके पास है, और एड्रेस भी उनके पास है.
यस सर.
तो जब ये सब भी है उनके पास, तब जब आप प्रीपेड, ठीक है, हम अभी किसका बात कर रहे हैं? प्रीपेड का बात कर रहे हैं.
यस सर.
आपने पे कर दिया है तो उसका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई क्या होगा? अगर आप एक एजेंट के पास जाते हो तब फिर एजेंट का जो लोकेशन है वो आ जाएगा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई.
यस सर.
और सेकेंड केस में जब आप ऑनलाइन मोड से पेमेंट करते हो तो ऑनलाइन तो क्लाउड में है, उसका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई क्या होगा? इसलिए कहा गया है प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई वो होगा जो आपने एड्रेस दिया है, वो हो जाएगा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई.
यस सर.
ठीक है. नाउ प्रीपेड हम समझ गए. अगर आपका बैलेंस कम हो गया, आप मुझे कहते हो मेरा रिचार्ज कर दो, तो अगर मैं रिचार्ज करता हूं, क्या मेरा लोकेशन, मैं बैंगलोर में बैठा हूं, मैं रिचार्ज कर रहा हूं, क्या प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई बैंगलोर हो जाएगा?
यस सर.
क्या आप दिल्ली में बैठे हो, आप बिहार में बैठे हो, और आपका मोबाइल नंबर मुझे देते हो, आप बोलते हो रिचार्ज करो मेरा, तो मैं रिचार्ज करता हूं, तो फिर क्या प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई बैंगलोर हो जाएगा?
नहीं सर.
हाँ, तो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई बैंगलोर नहीं होगा. इट विल बी स्टिल योर प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई बिकॉज इट इज योर मोबाइल. तो आपने जो एड्रेस दिया है वो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई हो जाएगा. वो ही बोल रहा है ये.
ओके सर, गुड. और सर जो कंज्यूम करता है उसका वो कोई रिसिपिएंट नहीं होता है, मतलब वाईफाई को?
रिसिपिएंट तो वही होगा ना. रिसिपिएंट तो जो कंज्यूमर होगा वही रिसिपिएंट होगा.
सर वाईफाई तो मतलब कि कोई भी यूज कर सकता है, जिसने एड्रेस दिया है वो रिसिपिएंट होगा ना, ऐसा?
करेक्ट. तो आपका एड्रेस आप मुझे दोगे क्या? आप ही तो पास रहेगा ना.
यस सर.
आप ही रेसिपिएंट रहो.
ओके सर, समझ आ गई.
ओके. Riddhi, your question is address always available in data of the person for the company. Then why given address is not available in the book? What given address? So government sees the law makes the law in such a way that it covers all situation, not for specific situation. We take the law and identify specific situation which fits into it. So we are taking to specific situations to identify the law. It doesn't mean that law is wrong. From the law, we are reading it, and the law has specified that this is the place of supply. So that is the place of supply. Now coming to next service, which is financial and stockbroking services. What is financial services? Any services provided by the banks, non-NBFCs. They are all financial services and stockbroking services. So in this case, what is the place of supply where the recipient's details are available? So wherever you go to a bank, your address will be there, right? So in such cases where banking services, you're buying shares through a stockbroker will have your address. When the recipient's details are available in the records, then the location of the recipient. So when my address I've given to the banker, I go to another state and tell the bank that I need withdrawal of cash. So they'll tell me, okay, your bank account, give me the account, give me a check, I will tell you to withdraw. So they have allowed me to withdraw. Now they said, since it is outstation, I will levy charges. Outstation cash withdrawal charges of 100 rupees. Okay, levy. Now they are asking what GST I have to pay. So that branch, which is outside the state, they will take my address because my address will be available with them. So this address, what is there, will be in another state. So the location of the recipient of service, my location, since I'm going there, my location doesn't change. My location in the records, whatever they have, that will become the place of supply. So if I'm registered in Bangalore, Karnataka, now if I go to the other branch and withdraw cash and there is cash withdrawal charges, on that they will levy charges of 10 rupees. Now on the 10, they have to charge GST, or 100 rupees we had said, yes, whatever. 100 rupees on that, they have to charge GST. On that, they will charge IGST. Okay. From a consumer, it doesn't matter. But from the government, it matters because if it is IGST, it will go to the central government. If it is CGST, SGST, it will go to the center and state. So don't think that place of supply is relevant only for a registered person, right? It is relevant from the government's perspective also, because if you mention correct place of supply, it will go to the correct tax. If you consider wrongly, then it will go to the wrong state. So if, say, for that same example of 100 rupees bank charges, the banker had to levy IGST because it is an interstate supply. Suppose by mistakenly he has collected CGST and SGST, then what will happen? Aditya, be attentive in the class. When I'm asking a question, you have to give answer and not ask me to repeat the same question again and again. So my question was that when the banker has to charge IGST and he's charged CGST and SGST by mistake, then what happens? Correct. So many of them have given correct answer. But Nandagopal, your answer is little off the way. First, the correct answer is yes, you have to pay the GST. You have to pay the correct taxes, because if you pay wrong taxes, you cannot adjust the wrong tax with the correct tax. If you have to pay IGST, and if you have paid CGST and SGST, you cannot tell the government, okay, it's a mistake, so just offset it. No, that can't happen, because your return is the final one. In the return, what you mentioned, that is important. So if you have paid CGST and SGST, then you have to pay the correct tax, you have to pay the correct IGST, and then claim refund. Okay, then you have to claim refund of the wrong CGST, SGST which you have paid. So this refund, you don't have to go to council, you have to go to your jurisdictional officer and get the refund. Okay. Correct. From where should we get refund, Pranav? That is there in your final syllabus. You will get covered over there. So basically, it's your jurisdictional officer. You have to file it online, and the officer who is the correct officer will go to him, and he will process the refund. Okay. Now come to the second situation. They've said whether recipient details are available. Second situation is if the location of recipient of service is not available. What could be the situation of a location of recipient of service not available? Can you think of a bank not having your address with them and still you're receiving services from the bank? करेक्ट 2000 नोट्स चेंज के टाइम पे अगर किसी बैंकर ने चार्जेस लिया है तो फिर वहां पे आपको एड्रेस वगैरह देने की जरूरत नहीं थी, या फिर आपको सिर्फ एक्सचेंज करना था. दैट इज पॉसिबल. डीडी, करेक्ट, डीडी जब हम लेते हैं उसमें एड्रेस देने की जरूरत नहीं होती है. इट कैन बी एनी पर्सन जो अमाउंट देता है बैंक को, उसको डीडी दे देती है. यू हैव गॉन अनदर प्लेस, देयर ऑल्सो foreigner comes with DD to get money. Yes, that is also possible. Cash exchange services, correct. Currency exchange या फिर cash exchange अगर उसके लिए कुछ charges ले लेते हैं, then those are the cases that you don't have to have your address. Correct, Riddhi? That's what I'm saying. Bank will have all the customer address. Then there are situations where in case of a demand draft, in case of exchange of 2000 rupees notes, in case of any foreigner coming with DD and he wants to engage cash, in all of such cases, there will be transaction where the banker will not have your address. So basically, when the banks can give services to other persons who are not its account holders. So in that case, the address is not available. Neither the place of the recipient is available. So in that cases, the place of supply will be the location of supplier of service, that is the bank's address. So bankers, if they provide services to any persons other than its account holders, it will charge CGST and SGST. Similarly, the insurance services, when it is provided to a registered person, then the location of recipient. Yes, same applies in broking industry. Yes, Manoj. Both, let's say if you see 1212, it is financial and stock broking services. 1213 is in case of insurance services. When it is provided to a registered person, then the location of the recipient. And if it is provided to an unregistered person, then the location of the recipient in the records of the supplier of services. So in banking, it was whether address is available or no. But in case of insurance, it is not based on address. It is on the status of the recipient. Okay. If the recipient is registered, then it is location of the recipient. If it is provided to an unregistered person, then the location of the recipient of the services in the records of the supplier of services. What is the location of the recipient in the records of the supplier of service? That will become the place of supply, which means when an insurance service is providing to anybody, they will always have the address. In banking, we saw there are exceptions, but in insurance services, it cannot be. So insurance service will always be to a person whose address is taken. Now, if that person is registered, then the location. If the person is unregistered, still the address, location of the recipient in the records of the supplier of services. So when we exchange store notes or exchange 2000, then also we have to pay GST. We don't have to pay GST Pallavi, लेकिन banker ने कुछ charges ले लिया है. Some bankers have taken कि नहीं, for this exchange we will charge you something. So for that, on that, because exchange of 2000 और उसमें if you take back 100 rupees notes, that is not a service because it's a transaction in money. Transaction money, on that we don't pay GST, but any charges collected by the banker, then on that, what is the GST payable is what we are discussing. In 1213, ultimate place of supplier is the location. Nahi. 1213, you're telling exactly wrong. Ultimately, place of receiver is the location of the recipient. Bhavana, why are you getting confused?
सर वो टाइपिंग एरर है, यहाँ पर था प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज लोकेशन ऑफ रेसिपिएंट.
करेक्ट.
ओके सर.
Both cases, recipients, POS, correct. Yeah. Now this is a lengthy topic of 1214, wherein advertisement services are provided to the government. Okay. So to start this and end this, it will take considerable amount of time. We have understood 12.1, 12.2 to 12.14, 12.13. We'll take a short break, understand 12.14, and then go back to 12.2 to understand what is the place of supply in case of general services. Okay, so let's take a break of 10 minutes here. Okay. So we were discussing on next place of supply for section 12, subsection 14, which is advertisement services provided to the government. Now, when advertisement services are provided to the government, it is liable to GST. Okay, it is not exempted. Services provided government mostly are exempted. Services provided to government, to individuals, to companies, or anybody subject to the exemption what we have read. But here we are not talking about that. We are talking about services provided by a individual or a company, a private person, right? A business person providing services to the government is taxable. One of the services is advertisement services. Now, specifically, they mentioned this because what is the place of supply for such services has to be decided. So, this is very critical. Now, advertisement services involving dissemination of material supplied to the government or a statutory body will be the location of such dissemination. Dissemination, the meaning will be distribution. Okay. Now, advertisements, government does lot of advertisement, could be for awareness, could be for popularity, and could be for any other reason where lot of schemes what the government is bringing, it has to advertise. Now, this advertisement, what the government does, it has to reach the ultimate consumer. So that's where they spend on their advertisements. Now, this advertisement services where it involves dissemination of the materials, could be pamphlets, brochures, anything. Now, these materials where it is supplied will be the location of such dissemination. Government ne brochures bana ke de diye aapko. Now, your work is to distribute in Bangalore. So, place of supply will be Bangalore. They distribute something in Malayalam and tell you to distribute in Kerala. So, place of supply will be Kerala. Where it is identifiable to a specific state. Jaise maine example diya, like how I had given the example of distribution of Malayalam brochures in Kerala. So, it is to a specific state. The place of supply will be that state. But where it is in English, which is common, and it is disseminated over number of states, then each of such states, union territories where the advertisement is broadcasted, run, or played, or disseminated, that will become the place of supply. The simplest example I gave you is the brochures. But do you think only brochures is possible? Because brochures is physical, we know where it is disseminated. Now, when it comes to services, firstly, let me ask you a question, whether this distribution of brochures is supply of goods or supply of services? So printing they have done, right? Like printing, if you do, then I'm sure the answer would change. But I'm not asking you for printing. Government has printed and it has told you to distribute. So it is supply of service because you are providing the service. You're not selling the goods and you're not distributing the goods there. So it is not supply of goods, it is supply of services. Correct? Similarly, all advertisement promotion happens that you will involve goods in it. But the nature of the transaction is that it is supply of service. So when it is supply of service, then we will come here, because if it is supply of goods, we would not have come to section 12 itself, because 12 is specifically for supply of services. Now, we understood that distribution of brochures is one mode. So there we can identify saying that it is for a specific state. Or if they have printed 1 lakh brochures, each state they have told 10,000 rupees. So we know that, okay, 10,000 is for this state, place of supply will be X, Y, Z states. But the advertisement can happen through non-physical modes also, through television, radio. Lot of things can happen. You can broadcast the message of the government, right? Whenever we go to movie screens, we see a lot of advertisement of the schemes by the government. Whenever we are watching movies, we'll see some scheme of the government, right? All those things are possible. Now, to determine the place of supply for such cases where it is non-physical, we have Rule 3. The details of each type of advertisement is provided in Rule 3. Now, this Rule 3 is a very detailed rule which says that what is the place of supply in case of advertisement services through various modes. Bharat Vande Mataram train is an example. Yes, that is also a good example. Ads through digital media like YouTube, website are hard to find the place of supply. Yes. It can be seen by people in any state. Very true. So what do we do in such cases? That's where we have Rule 3. Section 12, subsection 14 is decided by Rule 3. Now, Rule 3 says that, Baba, if you have some services like this, they have listed off 11 modes of services. Now, for this 11 modes of services, how will you determine the place of supply? Advertisement on metro? Yes. Sir, is it also about advertisement of political parties? Yes, even by them. Even by them, all that advertisement will be, the basis will be Rule 3. Okay. When it is advertisement in newspapers and publications, then the value of service will be the amount payable for publishing an advertisement in all the editions of the newspaper or publications which are published in each state or union territory. Here also physical is involved. The popular scheme of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, that is the scheme which the government has brought in. Now they want to disseminate this information in newspapers of all the states. So each newspaper, what budget they will give. So what is the amount payable for publishing in that newspaper, right? Now, one newspaper company will have 2-3 newspapers. They will give the total price. Another newspaper will give their price. So whatever this price is involved, we know, correct? So the amount payable for each of that state's newspaper will be the value for each of those states. No problem with it. Similar to brochures, क्योंकि वहाँ पे भी physical है. Skill India scheme, very good. Skill India scheme also is a good example there. So in case of advertisement in newspapers and publication, what is the charges payable for each of that publication will be decided. Now, what the government does is they will not go and tell each of the companies. They will find one agency. The agency will make payment to all of that. Now, that information will come to that agency and it will charge based on each of those states. Okay. Second is advertisement through printed material like pamphlets, leaflets, diaries, calendars, t-shirts, etc. Here also same amount payable for the distribution of a specific number of such material in each state or union territory. So if they said print 50,000 calendars and give 10,000 calendars in this state, 5,000 calendars in this state, 7,000 calendars in that state, each of the states' distribution is decided. So based on whatever is distributed in each of those states, that will become the place of supply. Okay. Next, amounts, advertisements on hoardings. What is hoardings? When you see a lot of banners. Okay, जहाँ पे भी poles लगते हैं. On that poles, you put a lot of banners. They are called hoardings. Okay. Other than trains, because for trains, there is a separate categorization. Okay. So trains is separate. Apart from the trains, any hoardings we see, that the place of supply will be decided for the hoardings based on how much hoardings you are located in each state. There will be so many, but there will be data available, right? So whatever is the data available, based on that, apportionment will happen. Okay. Next, advertisement on trains. So advertisement of trains, somebody was saying that a lot of Bharat Vande Mataram trains, Bharat Jodo trains are there. In that case, train to it is running from what? From one state to another state, from Bangalore to Delhi also it will run. So in that case, how do you decide the amounts attributable to each state or union territory, which is calculated in the ratio of, very interesting, in the ratio of length of the railway track in each of the state or union territory for that train, because that train is traveling from Bangalore, crossing Andhra Pradesh, then going to Maharashtra, then it is going to Delhi. So it is covering 4 states. Okay, so the service is distributed in all the states because people from all these states will watch this advertisement. Correct? So the place of supply has to go to each of the states. So that's why they've said in such cases, the amount attributable to each state or union territory, which is calculated in the ratio of length of the railway track, not the length of the train. Train will go from one state to another state. What is the coverage of the train? Railways will have this information saying that this train is moving from point A to point B. Point B to point C. From point A to point B is one state. From point B to point C is different state. So they will have the distance in terms of number of kilometers. Correct? Length of the railway track in each of the state for that train. So they will have the length. You don't have to physically measure it. The information will be available with the railways. Government advertisement agency will collect this information from the railways and apportion the place of supply in such ratio. Then advertisements on the back of the utility bills of oil and gas companies. Correct? On behind the oil and gas companies, we see this advertisement. Then the amount payable to each state or union territory for the advertisements on bills pertaining to consumers having billing address in each of the states. So oil and gas companies will have their number of subscribers. So that will be the portion. It will be on the basis of consumers having billing address in each of these states. So some states will have less consumers, some states will have more consumers. That will be the basis for apportioning this. Sixth one, advertisement of railway tickets. Okay, your railway tickets you cannot distribute like how we had distributed for oil and gas companies. So here the ratio is little different. Amount attributable to each state or union territory calculated in the ratio of number of railway stations. How many stations are there? On that proportion you will attribute it. 1 लाख रुपए का बजट दे दिया कि भाई अब सभी इंडियन रेलवेज के टिकट्स के पीछे गवर्नमेंट का ये एडवर्टाइजमेंट आना चाहिए. सो सभी स्टेट्स को आ गया है. नाउ एवरी स्टेट हैज दैट थिंग. नाउ the place of supply will be decided on the basis of number of states each state has. ठीक है? For the benefit of Hindi students, now I'll repeat in Hindi कि आपको गवर्नमेंट ने कह दिया कि सभी रेलवे टिकट्स के ऊपर ये गवर्नमेंट का एडवर्टाइजमेंट आना चाहिए. ठीक है, लेकिन प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई कैसे डिसाइड करेंगे कि कितने प्रिंट हुए? नहीं, पूरे प्रिंट होकर डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होते हैं. तो फिर इजी रेशियो क्या किया गवर्नमेंट ने, क्योंकि ऐसे तो मैं फाइंड आउट नहीं कर पाऊंगा. अगर आप हाइपर टेक्निकल जाएंगे, एक एक ढूंढेंगे तो फिर बहुत टाइम लग जाएगा. करेक्ट? तो ऐसा होना चाहिए कि प्रैक्टिकल होना चाहिए. तो इसलिए उन्होंने कहा कि पूरे स्टेट में कितने रेलवे स्टेशन है वो तो मिल जाएंगे आपके, उस रेलवे स्टेशन के बेसिस पे आप अपोर्शन कर दीजिए. ठीक है? देन एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स ऑन रेडियो स्टेशंस. ऑन द रेडियो स्टेशंस, various radio stations are there. So each state, how much you are paying, amount payable to such radio station, which by virtue of its name is part of each state or union territory. Each station where it is there by virtue of its name is part of each state, because each state will have its radio station. Now when you cross the border also you can hear, but the radio station is belonging to that state primarily. Correct? So amount payable to the radio station, which by virtue of its name is part of the state, how much is to be paid for advertisement on the radio? That is the apportionment basis. Then advertisement on television channels, amount attributable to each state or union territory, which is calculated basis the viewership of such channel. How much is the viewership? So we have heard of TV rights and TRP. Correct? So how is it calculated? The dissemination, the Department of Telecommunication calculates it, saying that what is the TRP for this program, what is the TRP for this advertisement. So they have the control on the viewership. So what is the viewership of such channel in each of the state or union territory, which will be derived as under viewership can be assigned from channel viewership figures, which is again published by the Broadcast Audience Research Council, BARC, or by the figures for the last week of a given quarter. Some basis has to be there because each quarter viewership, each day viewership changes. So it can be one of these modes: viewership by channel viewership figures of the last week for a given quarter, or where the channel viewership figures related to a region comprising more than one state or union territory. Then the viewership figures for a state or union territory of that region is calculated on the ratio of that state or union territory as determined in the latest census, where it becomes very complicated. तो लेटेस्ट सेंसस के हिसाब से, सेंसस का मतलब जो गवर्नमेंट के पास रिकॉर्ड रहता है, व्हाट गवर्नमेंट टेक्स द रिकॉर्ड ऑफ द नंबर ऑफ citizenship in a country, that is called census. So that can be one of the modes, or the ratio of the viewership figures for each state or union territory when calculated, when applied to the amount payable for the service. Okay, what is the amount paid? The ratio of the viewership figures for each state. Like there is star plus broadcast to all the states. For each state, how much they pay, the ratio of the viewership figures for each state or union territory when applied for the amount payable for the service shall represent the proportion of the value attributable. So viewership, how much they are paying, that will become the ratio. So various options are there in terms of advertisement on television channels. Then advertisement on cinema halls. Okay. So in case of cinema halls, the amount payable to a cinema hall in that state, that will become the ratio. That is clear, right? Because how many cinema theaters are there? They will charge. Now, whatever they are charging will all get consolidated and that state's value will be determined. Then advertisements on internet. It is deemed that such service is provided all over India. In such case, what will happen? The amount attributable to each state or union territory, which is calculated basis the internet subscribers in each of the state or union territory, which shall be derived in the following manner. Again, viewership. It will be basis the internet subscribers. We have seen viewership for television, but for internet, where somebody has correctly pointed that can be viewed across India, then it will be based on the internet subscribers. So there has to be some method. Can't say no, everybody will not watch internet. That's fine. But somewhere close approximation is there, where the internet subscribers are ascertained from the internet subscriber figures published by the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Figures for the last quarter, same like TV advertisement, we have seen figures of the last quarter of the given financial year, which we used for calculating the number of internet subscribers, where the internet subscribers relate to a region comprising of more than one state or union territory. Then the subscribers figures for a state or UT of that region shall be calculated on the ratio of population, where the internet subscribers figures are there consolidated for the whole India. Then you have to go with the ratio of the population. How the population is calculated? Again, by the latest census. Clear with this? Same like TV advertisement. Now the last point is advertisement through SMS. Amount attributable to each state or union territory, again on the basis of telecom subscribers. So how much are the telecommunication subscribers? Figures from the last quarter. Here last quarter is not there. Third criteria is there from the population. Okay. So this is the basis for calculating the ratios for advertisement by the government. Yes, I know it was very, very detailed, but that is how the rule has been given. Now, should you remember? I think more than remembering, you should apply the logic, because all of this they will not give. They'll pick up one question and you have to only do a calculation of a mathematical thing over here, nothing else. So you have at the end of all of these sessions, sometime in January, something called as problem solving session. So during that session, whoever is the speaker or whoever is taking the chapter, he will deliberate various practical questions with you. 8 point. Okay. 8 point in C. Advertisement on television channels. If there is an advertisement in television channels, then when the channel viewership for related to a region comprise of more than one state, then the viewership figures for a state or UT of that region is calculated on the ratio of population. So 8C is telling that when the viewership is for multiple regions, say viewership is given for South India, East India, West India. So South India mein 3-4 states are comprised together. They don't have details for each of those states. Then you will do the proportion based on the population of each of these states. Okay. In advertisement cases, who is the services and who is the recipient? Sir, in advertisement cases, advertisement is provided to the government. So the recipient is government, sir. Ultimately, it will be viewed by somebody else, but it is benefit. If you view, whom will the benefit go to? It will go to the government, because as we had said, who is the receiver? To determine that, you have to have one rule. That is, who is the payer? Who is paying? He is generally the receiver. So in case of government services, if you're providing advertisement on a railway station, will the ultimate consumer pay for it? No. The consumer will view it, but the payment will happen by the government. So government is the receiver. The advertisement companies, marketing companies, broadcasting companies, they are the service providers. No, services provided to the government is not RCM Hardik. Services provided by the government. When the services are provided by the government, it is RCM. This is services provided to the government, so it is under forward charge, not under reverse charge. Yeah, the working of this is very difficult, Riddhi, but advertisement companies will have to have a separate team who will do this. So when you're providing any services to the government, you need to be very careful and you need to have proper staff to do this. It is a lot of information which they have to disseminate and they have to gather, then they have to provide this. GST is not paid in case of persons outside. So these advertisements actually, Pallavi, that you can geotag it. That is, you can specify the locations. Okay, you can specify the locations. If you're providing outside India, then yes, it is outside the scope. But if you're providing within India, you will follow these rules. Yeah, it includes both central government and state government, Sanya. There's no distinction between central or state. But state, it becomes very easy. Sometimes if they do it, then this rules will apply. Mostly state government will give advertisements within its state itself. Somebody is asking succeeding year. It's not succeeding year. Shruti Kumari, it's saying figures for the last quarter of a given financial year, which will be used for calculating the number of internet subscribers for the subsequent succeeding year. So what figures are used will be, the base will be the last quarter of a given financial year. That will be the basis. Give me example of advertisement on television channels. See, you would have seen a lot of TV viewership, right? That the government shows that Ujjwala Yojana, saying that village women were walking and then they got their cash connections because of the Ujjwala Yojana. So they are promoting such schemes, right? So when you see that ad on the television, that is an example of advertisement on television channels. Man ki baat, yes. Online ticket booking, on that what we see advertisement, no, that is separate. That is not a government services. That is a services of the broadcaster. But what advertisements generally you see on the railway booking is by the internet service provider. That is not under this. But to that internet service provider, if the government goes, then it will get covered. Correct, Kambeshwari. RBI advertisement, movie before starting the offer, do not use tobacco. Tobacco is harmful. All of that. In this case, government is the recipient. Yes. Okay. So I know very hard to digest, but understand services provided to the government is not under RCM. It is under forward charge. Advertisement company will charge to the government and government will pay funds. And from that, government will pay the funds and the service provider will collect the GST and again pay it to the government. Because some government, why pay raise to the government and pay to the government? Because services to the government are taxable. So the person who is paying is a different government department and the person collecting is a different government department. So it is not exempted, it is taxable. Government is receiver, that they call recipient, correct. Who are included in internet subscribers? Whoever has internet connections, they are all included in subscribers. But that data will be given by the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, or that respective department will give it. So when budget come on VCTV, no, there's no charges, right? There's no charges which they have to pay. That TV will already broadcast it. But the advertisements, because charges who will pay to the government, or when the government will pay for relaying this, when some third agency comes in, relay of budget is mandatory, they have to do. So there is no charges for that services. Like if you have to do some advertisement, you have to pay charges, right? So wherever there are services, there we will have to pay the GST. So wherever GST is there, only there this transactions will come in. Not necessarily mandatory IGST, Hardik, where the supplier is in Delhi and place of supply is in Delhi, he will charge CGST and SGST. For all other states, it will become IGST. Some MCQ on this I don't have, but overall for this chapter we have, which we have missed out. At the end, we will take that also. Yes, Riddhi, in all the services, the government is the recipient. Okay. So 12.2, 12.3 to 12.14 we have covered, and we have understood what happens in case of these specific services, correct? Now, where did we start our journey from? We started our journey from 12.1. So let's go back to 12.1, wherein we had said that, boss, is one of your service falling under 12.3 to 12.14? We said yes, and then we applied that rule. What was that services? Where it was services, various services, we'll go quickly to that before coming to 12.2. 12.3 is in relation of immovable property services. We will come here. If it is 12.4, which is restaurant and catering services, will come to 12.4. If it is training and performance appraisal services, will come to 12.5. Then if it is service by way of admission to any event, amusement park or other place, then will come to 12.6. If it is organizing of an event, then will come to 12.7. Then if it is transportation of goods, including mail or courier, then will come to 12.8. If it is passenger transport service, will come to 12.9. And then if it is service provided on board a conveyance, will come to 12.10. If it is telecommunication services, 12.11. If it is financial and stockbroking services, 12.12. And if it is insurance services, 12.13. If it is advertisement services to government, 12.14. So These are the 11, 12 categories of services which is specifically provided. Now, apart from this, first we will come to 12 for services. We will see if this 12.3 to 12.14, these 11 services are applicable, then we will apply that rule. If the services what we are providing is not that, that's a general service which is not covered under this. If it is not getting covered under this, then we will come to the general rule which is 12.2. Now, what is 12.2 saying? It is saying that, boss, you have applied all the rules, not satisfied, now you come to me. 12.2 simply says that the place of supply of services made to a registered person is the location of the person receiving the services. So when you're providing service to a registered person, it is the location of the person receiving the service. And if you're supplying it to an unregistered person, then simple, if the location of such unregistered person, if the address is available, then it will be the location of the unregistered person. If the address is not available, in all other cases means in case where address is not available, then the location of supplier of service. So this is a general rule where all other rules are not applicable. Then you will come to 12.2. 12.2 says where the supply is to a registered person, so always the location of the receiver. If it is to an unregistered person and his address is available, right? Similar to 10CB, what we had seen, where the location of unregistered person is available, then unregistered person is available, then that location, if the location of the recipient is not available, okay, then it will be the location of supplier of service itself. Address nahi hai, to फिर CGST, SGST. Agar address hai, then that specific place of supply. Are you clear with 12.2? Because 12.2 is the main important rule, because if those 11 rules doesn't apply, then we will have to apply 12.2 itself. Now, let me give you an example. Tell me, what is the place of supply? A chartered accountant registered in Bangalore, providing services to a client in Bangalore, but the client is a registered person who is registered in Tamil Nadu. So what is the place of supply? Services is providing in Bangalore. Bangalore because it's receiving in Bangalore. Pranav is given the answer. Riddhi is saying Bangalore. Nandagopal is saying Bangalore. Kasak is saying Bangalore. It means you didn't. Others are all saying that it is Tamil Nadu. So people who have said Tamil Nadu is the correct answer. Simple reasons, because you have not understood 12.2, so you are giving the wrong answer. When I am supplying it to a registered person, location of the person receiving the service. What is the location of the person receiving the service? We know the definition of location of recipient. Those who have missed the class, go and refer back that video and see what is the definition of location of recipient. Location of the recipient is the location of address on records. So he is registered in Tamil Nadu, the place of supply will be Tamil Nadu. Now same, question number 2. So a chartered accountant provides services to a person in Bangalore. Now recipient is unregistered. Now what is the place of supply? Don't give your answers in haste. Whatever you give in haste, either you should know the answer, otherwise your answer is wrong. Only Amit Mishra has asked the correct question, saying that do you have the address of the recipient? If I have the address of the recipient on records, then say that person is from Tamil Nadu, is come to Bangalore. but he will use a service in Tamil Nadu itself. So the place of supply you cannot say simply that it is Bangalore, because you are assuming that his place of supply is Bangalore and don't have his address. If I have his address, then that will be the place of supply. If I don't have his address, then the place of supply will be Bangalore. Next example, a person from Bangalore goes to Kerala and has food there. Okay. And he comes back to Bangalore. But while he's coming back, he brings parcel of some food. So what is the place of supply in that case? If Pallavi's question, if the question is silent about address of unregistered person, so you have to mention your assumption, because whatever assumptions you make, if it is MCQ, there is no question of making assumptions. If it is if it is a general question, then you have to mention your assumption saying that since the place of recipient is not given, there it is assumed that the address is not available, so it is unregistered person. So MCQs, you will not have that confusion. Okay, they will specifically give the facts correctly. No, Tambeshwari, be attentive, questions are not repeated here. Correct. So in the restaurant services, the place of supply will be where the food is getting consumed, because we have a specific rule there. So where it is for restaurant service, where even though you're getting Bangalore parcel from there to Bangalore, it will still be the place of supply will be Kerala itself. Okay. So we have understood कि कब general rule apply होगा, when all other specific rules fail, then specific rule fails, then the place of supply for general rule has to be applied. Okay. I think there will be more questions. We'll finish off the slides and then we'll come to your questions. So we have understood all the place of supply of services. Now, very simple thing which you already know, but there is a section which explains this. What is an interstate supply? When the supply of goods or services, where the location of supplier and the place of supply are in two different states. Okay, or two different union territories. It could be different state or a different union territory. Okay. Or one state and one union territory, it is an interstate supply. And supply in the taxable territory not being an intrastate supply. So supply is categorized as interstate and intrastate. So whatever is falling under intrastate is intrastate. Whatever is falling under interstate is interstate. But what in some situation you're not able to determine. So can you say that I'm not able to determine the place of supply, so no tax? For that, they have a protection where the supply is in a taxable territory within India, but not being an interstate supply and not specified elsewhere. In such case, it will always be interstate supply. Matlab, the balancing figure, the residuary, जो बचा कुचा है, वो सब कहाँ पे जाएगा? Interstate supply. Whatever is left out, which is not defined anywhere, that will be falling under interstate supply. So it could be supply of goods or supply of services, or import of goods or import of services, because import of goods and import of services also interstate supply, correct? So that will all fall under interstate supply. Now, what is an intrastate supply? Subject to the provision of section 10, supply of goods where the location of the supplier and place of supply are in the same state or same union territory shall be treated as interstate supply. What is 10? We have read the initial part, right? Initial part of this chapter. What is section 10? So section 10 ke hisab se, what it will decide? It will decide the place of supply. So once you decide the place of supply from there, where the location of supplier and place of supply are in the same state, then it is an interstate supply. provided the following supply of goods shall not be treated as an interstate supply, which is supply of goods to or by a SEZ. So SEZ, so whatever you're supplying will not be an intrastate supply. Then goods imported to the territory of India will not be an intrastate supply. And supply made to a tourist is again not a intrastate supply. Because tourist जब आएगा वो जब export यहाँ से जाएगा outside India, he can claim the refund. So when a tourist comes, you have to charge him interstate. So this is just there in the law. It has not been implemented. So you don't ask me, sir, whether the tourist will go outside or no, I don't know. So they've just made in this section, but you cannot establish that. So you will charge regular tax itself. But once this comes into effect, then a tourist says, I'm a tourist, then we will have to charge a interstate supply. We have to charge IGST. But now it is only there in the law. So you will charge him, if he's consuming here in your place itself, you will charge him CGST, SGST. But supply to SEZ and imported will always be not an intrastate, it will be an interstate supply. Subject to the provisions of Section 12, supply of services where the location of the supplier and place of supply of services are in the same state or in the same union territory will be treated as an intrastate supply. 10 is for goods, 12 is for services. Provided same intrastate supply of services shall not include supply of services to or by a SEZ. They have not given the other part, which is goods imported in India, because that is coming through a notification, and supplies of services made to a tourist will not be anything because tourists will not be decided. That will be decided by Section 13. Then intrastate supply explanation says that where a person has an establishment in India and other establishment outside India, an establishment in the state or union territory and any other establishment outside the state or union territory, or an establishment in a state or union territory and any other establishment being a business vertical, then such establishments are treated as establishments of distinct person. This we had read even before. What happens in case of a distinct person? If you have an entity here and an entity outside India, or entity in a state and entity outside the state, or two registrations in a state, they are treated as distinct persons. And a person carrying on business through a branch in India or an agency, through a branch or agency or representation office shall be treated as having an establishment in that territory. So this is a interstate, intrastate concept and definition of who is a distinct person. Then supplies in territorial waters. What happens in case of place of supply in territorial waters, where the location of the supplier is in territorial waters? It is not in many of the states. It is in the territorial waters. Then the location of such supplier or the place of supply is in territorial waters. So location of the supplier is in territorial waters or the place of supply is in territorial waters. Then what will be the state? In such cases, for the purpose of this act, the location of the supplier or the place of supply will be the coastal state or the union territory. Will be the coastal state or the union territory which is nearest point to the appropriate baseline. Okay. Now in terms of fishing, when they're doing fishing, the place of supply is in the water. So will that be treated as full India? No. If it is the fisherman is at the closest vicinity of which coastal state. So if it is Kerala fisherman is going, catching the fish and coming, the place of supply will be Kerala. In terms of Bombay Highway, they are exploring some natural resources, which is close to Maharashtra. The place of supply will be Maharashtra. If some exploration they are doing at the water closest to Gujarat, the place of supply will be Gujarat. So in case of supplies in territorial waters, the place of supply will be at the nearest coastal state or the union territory, which is the nearest point of that place of supply. Clear? This we already knew, but territorial waters was a new thing for you. Please clarify location of supply and place of supply. Okay. quickly we'll go through the slide on location of supplier and place of supply. We had covered this before. Location of supplier of service is where the supply is made from a place of business from where you have obtained the registration. Then the location. So if you have taken registration in Karnataka, Karnataka is your place of supply. If you have taken registration in Tamil Nadu, Tamil Nadu is your place of supply. That is where you have taken a registration. Now, if you make a supply from a fixed establishment elsewhere, we have learned the definition of fixed establishment. So if you make any supply from a fixed establishment elsewhere, then the location of such fixed establishment becomes the place of supply. You have registered in Karnataka, but you are providing services from Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu will become the location of supplier of service. Or if you're providing from more than one establishment, which could be multiple places of business or multiple fixed establishment, then the place of supply will be that place which is directly concerned with the provision of service. There you will not do any apportionment. That place which is directly concerned with providing the service, because there'll be one place which is primarily engaging and other branches, other fixed establishment is helping them. So where is the main place, that will become the place of supply. And in absence of such place where you're not registered, you're not having a fixed establishment, in that case, usual place of residence will become the location of supplier of service. Reciprocal is the location of recipient of service, where the supply received as a registered place. If it is received at a fixed establishment, if it is from more than one place, then the place which is directly concerned. And in case of any absence, then the receiver's usual place of residence. What in case of fishing outside India waters? So if the fisherman goes outside India, then somebody else can catch him. Then the Indian government will not help him, because we have seen that a lot of fishermen are gone closer to Sri Lanka and they have been put into Sri Lankan jails. So that is a separate matter. If there are two states closer to territorial water, then which is the closest proximity, wo dekhna padega. That is what we have to see. If we are supplying to SEZ, it is treated as a export. It is called as an interstate, because it is also called that zero rated supply. Matlab, whenever you are supplying it to SEZ, it is a zero rated supply. You don't have to charge GST and you don't have to reverse the ITC as well. Okay. And when you're receiving anything from SEZ, it is import. So you have to pay customs duty and GST when you're importing from a SEZ. But from one SEZ to another SEZ, it is always interstate supply. Next question is, sir, if one branch is registered in Mumbai and one branch is in Delhi, both are registered, and I supply goods from Delhi to Mumbai, then IGST, correct. And if Mumbai is unregistered, then CGST, SGST? No. If Mumbai is unregistered, then still IGST. Because a person who's registered in one state and having establishment elsewhere in another state is a IGST transaction. And if Delhi is unregistered, but the supply is happening from where? Again from Delhi to Mumbai, correct? Now, if Delhi is unregistered, and unregistered person doesn't charge any GST. So from Delhi is unregistered and Mumbai is registered, supply from Delhi is without GST. So do you think Mumbai has to pay reverse charge? No, correct, because it is not falling under 9(4). So in case of interstate charge, IGST, correct. But in section 8, IGST is charged on intrastate. Nahi to section 8, it is only in case of a SEZ supply, not in all other cases. SEZ, even though if it is within the state, you will charge IGST, because section 8 says that it is treated as a territory outside India. So supply of goods by a SEZ to a SEZ, by a SEZ to a SEZ, by a local person to a SEZ is treated as an interstate. So these are the exceptions to an intrastate transaction. Okay, I think some MCQs are missed out. Let us not miss them out. MCQs in case of place of supply of goods, fully covered. MCQ in case of place of supply of services, which is relevant. I will cover what we have covered in the previous class. I will not repeat that. अभिषेक मिश्रा एंड एड्रेस इज नॉट अवेलेबल. ठीक है, तो फिर क्या होगा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई? Answer is B. Correct. Location of supplier of service, which is B. Next question. This was done. This was done. This is done. This is not. This is done. This is not done. Mahi, you have to tell me the answer, not ask me a question. Oh, for the previous one, it was B. Okay, in this case, people are getting confused with A and C. In case of services disseminated through internet, it will be Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. TRAI. Correct answer is A. Question number 7. Okay. Is this very confusing? Because I'm getting very weird answers. That's why the options also are there to help you. Mr. A is an importer who is located in Chennai. Now he takes repairs and maintenance service from C. C is located in Dubai. The location of machinery is in India. Okay. So who is the service provider? Service provider is D. C, basically. C is a service provider. Now C is providing services to A. Now this is a performance-based service where the presence is required. Correct? So this is service provider outside India. Receiver place of supply is in India. So it's an import of service. Correct? It is import of service, and import of service is what? It is interstate supply only, because we've seen under the definition of interstate supply that whenever you do import of service, it is not an intrastate supply, or import of goods is not an intrastate supply. So it is an interstate supply. So answer is D, both. It is an import of service and it's an interstate supply. So answer is B. Yes, A is an importer is definitely to confuse you. You have to only pick up the relevant facts which is relevant for your question. Right. 8. Everybody is given the correct answer. Answer is, still confusion. Some people are saying A, some people are saying D. Wow. Some people are saying C also. The correct answer is 8B, Karnataka, which is located, but the extraction happens to the nearest state, which is the state of Karnataka. Correct? So all other points, ONGC provides services to Oil India, which is located in Tamil Nadu. Identify the place of services provided by ONGC Limited. What is the service they are providing? Extraction of mineral oils. Now, the place of supply is the territorial water. The place of supply, when it is territorial water, will become to the nearest state. So we have said, no, in the first line, near Karnataka. They've never said Tamil Nadu is closer there. So it is Karnataka is the answer. Okay. Any more things? Any more doubts? Be careful. This MCQs like this help you. So I will try to bring in more MCQs. Question number 1 answer is B. Okay. Very much, I think, didn't underline it. Question number 1 answer is the location of supplier of service, which is Nagpur. That is general category, no? 12-2. I will upload the notes, Shruti. Whatever is the pending notes till today, everything I will upload. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next class then. Chapter completed? Yes. Place of supply. I thought we will complete it before time, but it took a lot of time. We have completed finally the place of supply chapter. Few questions I'm not answering because they were all discussed. So you can please watch the recording. People who are saying repeat it will impact others. So kindly watch the recording, whatever we have said. That will be helpful to you and save time for others. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Bye.